He's screaming, you better get your mind right. You better get your act together because something huge is about to happen. There is a guy that's coming, and it's going to revolutionize the world, and he is so big, I'm not even fit to help him put on his chacos. I can't even tie this guy's shoes. I'm not kidding. Read this. It's in the Bible. You know, this is big. This is a really big moment. And you're like, what is this guy doing? So you ask, you say, hey buddy, hey, who is that? And I go, it's John. And they're like, John? What is he doing? And they're like, check this out, listen, this is huge. For the first time ever, John is washing someone else. You see, before this time, you, as a Jew, you'd wash yourself, but John is down in the river, and he's washing other people. And he has this message, and the message is this Lamb of God, this guy that we talk about all the time, is coming. And he's going to take away the sins of the world. And if you identify with that message, if you come to believe John, then you need to go get yourself in the river and let John wash you. Because to do that means you are identifying with his message. And so, because this is so new, and because it's the first time this has ever been done, they start calling him Big John the Washer.
John the Baptist.
Big John the Washing Man, right?
I get it.
But it was John the Baptist. Because to baptize in that time just meant to dip,
So
to drown, to wash.
So technically we're drowning.
So he was John the Washer. So this is huge. And all of a sudden, you're watching all this crowd do all this stuff, and John's down there, and we don't really know if he's sprinkling people or if he's scrubbing them or if he's dunking them under water. We just know he's baptizing them. He's washing them, he's dipping them, he's sinking them, he's doing something.
He's cooking them in a water.
And all of a sudden, listen, John points and he says, everybody look, right there. In front of your eyes, the whole crowd's moving aside. And he says, that is the man that I've been telling you all about. This is the guy, the Lamb of God, who will take away the sins of the world. And everybody's like, whoa, this is crazy. And you say, who is that? People are saying, that's Jesus. That's Jesus. That's the one John's been telling us about. And this Jesus guy, he walks down into the river. And he says, John, baptize me. And John's like, no, you're crazy, man. You baptize me. You're the one I've been telling about. You're the one that the entire Old Testament has been proclaiming will come, and they proclaimed I would come, and now all this is happening, and you're in front of you should baptize me. And Jesus says, no, you baptize me. John's like, no, you baptize me. It's in the Bible reading. And so Jesus tells him, he says, you baptize me. So John washes Jesus. And this is so important because Jesus was washed by John. And the reason that Jesus could not wash John is because Jesus was proclaiming in front of everybody that today's the day that I want you to know that I identify with Big John the Washer's message. That what John the Washer has been saying is true. And I'm here in front of everyone to proclaim to you that I have come just like he said I would. And I am here. And over the years, maybe you thought John the Baptist, right? John the Baptist, Mary the Presbyterian, Joe the Catholic, Frank the Jew.
The Loniga sinking church.
That John the Baptist was just, that was his thing. He was a Baptist. But you see, John was a washer. And for the first time, he washed other people. And it was revolutionary. And the important thing to know is the reason is because Jesus identified his message. And over the years, just like we have with religion, people have screwed this all up. Humans have created these religions and doctrines and all these things. And you may know, a lot of people, maybe yourself, was baptized as an infant. And we dedicate babies in the infant, and what's the difference and all that. And what I say will probably get in crazy trouble, but the Bible does not talk about infant baptism at all. Because the point of being washed is to identify with the message. And if you are a child and you are a baby, you cannot say that from this day forth, I proclaim that I identify with this message of Jesus. And though it may be important to your parents or your friends' parents that happened, and that was a big ceremony for you, it was not the washing that John talked about. and that Jesus talked about and would later do. You see, that was at the very beginning of Jesus' ministry. And at the end, in about Matthew 28, verse 19, Jesus tells everyone, he says, what you need to do is you need to go out and make disciples. And then you need to wash them, baptize them. And see, what you need to understand is that baptism does not equal salvation. That salvation is not contingent upon baptism. What it means to be a disciple. Let me stop right there. The reason we know that is because when Jesus was dying on the cross, he's up there being crucified, and there's a guy right beside him that's so terrible that Rome didn't know what to do with him other than kill him. And he looks over at Christ and he says, you know, I think you are who you say you are. I identify with your message. And Jesus tells him, today, where I'm going, you're going. And the guy on the cross didn't say, well, what about that baptism thing? Don't I need to come down and be baptized if all that's going to work? He just says, today I'm going where you are going. So baptism is not contingent upon salvation. But what Jesus says in Matthew, that you have to go and make disciples, is to make learners, to make followers of Christ. And what that means is that as a follower of Christ, you say that you understand that good people do not go to heaven. That righteousness, like we talked about before, is not contingent upon you keeping a bunch of rules or being a good person or being an upstanding citizen. That righteousness, that your very ticket to heaven is a gift from the very purposeful and very meaningful sacrifice that the only person who's ever been righteous and ever will be, the only person that had that perfect season, came and died so that he could give that gift to you. So that you could be allowed to be righteous vicariously through the Son of God. That you could have a fellowship with God. That you would be a follower of Christ. And the message that Christ says is once you know that message, once you understand that righteousness is a gift, not by works, and that there's no difference between a person who does incredibly terrible and awful things and a person that does a straight Mother Teresa life. Once you understand that, you become a follower of Christ. And then at that moment, you need to go and you need to be washed to identify with the message of Christ. And that's what it means to be baptized. You see, there is no spiritual value in baptism. You follow me? There's no spiritual value in baptism. The spiritual value comes from marking a day when you can stand in front of a bunch of people that you know, and you can be held accountable, and you can say that on this day, and every day after this, at the dawn of every morning, when the sun sets in the evening, that you will know, as everyone here is being witnessed, that I am being washed to identify, to say to you that every day from this day forth, I will be known as a Christian. I will know, and I will let everyone know. And it doesn't matter if you're in a pool, or you're in a baptismal, or you join a church, but you do it in a ceremony to be washed and let the world know from this day on, I am a Christian. And you will know me as a follower of Christ. And that is what it means to be baptized, to be washed. And if you have not had that experience, either of identifying with Christ's message and realizing where righteousness is gained, or if you have and you call yourself a Christian and you have not been baptized, as we break up and go to community groups, you need to walk to your community